And so then as you're making plans throughout the holiday, think about how each event is going to impact your loved one with dementia. And so if they have a set routine, do your best to work with that. If they always have a nap, try to make sure they can still get it. Think about what time of day is easiest for them and avoid scheduling for when they tend to be more agitated or more easily upset. If they don't do well with change or new situations, try to plan to have more things happening in familiar territory. It's also okay to consider getting someone who can stay with them in the safety of what's familiar for them while you go out. It really is. If your loved one is in a nursing home, it might be too much for them to leave that environment. And it's okay to find ways to enjoy the holidays there with them. Again, thinking about the spirit of the holidays and what is important. And so it's being together, not necessarily where you are or even what you're doing, but sharing that time of togetherness. And have a plan for how you can handle if your loved one does get overstimulated or agitated. If you're hosting at home, is there a quiet room you can take them to, a soothing object you can give them, some way that they can get a break from people and noise? Can you prepare visitors so that you might need to ask them to leave if your loved one is getting too upset? Or if you're visiting others and you're going to be in their space, can you ask ahead of time if there would be a quiet place that your loved one could go rest or get away if they do get agitated? If you're doing any traveling at all or need to go any distance, or even if you're leaving the house and that's not something that you usually do, just think about what the impact of each part of the journey might be and how these things might build up for your loved one, and kind of try to build in mini breaks or kind of self-care moments for yourself or for them. And consider their general endurance and energy level. Basically, how much can they handle, and try not to overdo it. And that feels hard to say because the holidays tend to be about overdoing it even when we don't mean to. And so the more you can think about these things in advance and the more flexible you can be, and the more willing you can be to ask for flexibility, I feel like the easier things will be all around. Beyond thinking about how to adjust to and consider and accommodate their dementia, I really want to encourage you to look for ways to experience joy in your holiday together with your loved one. Yes, it will likely be very different from holidays past, but there's still so much love and joy and togetherness that can be experienced even in the midst of their dementia, even if their dementia is quite advanced. And so really look for ways that they can be included, in the festivities. Our musical memory often lingers when other kinds of memory fade. So incorporate music that they're familiar with, Christmas songs from their childhood, sing with them. If that's something that you guys have never done together, like this could be a wonderful opportunity to really make new memories together. If cooking a meal together is kind of beyond reach, but decorating cookies or a gingerbread house is doable, do that. Can they help with choosing gifts online? Can they direct where ornaments should be hung? So we know that older memories last longer than new memories. And so do they still have access to stories of childhood Christmases? And so can you ask them questions and ask them to tell you about any early Christmas memories that they might have if they're in an earlier stage of dementia, and that's something that's easier for them to access. In general, that's a conversation technique in the earlier stages that I think is very useful, is taking them to places conversationally where they have a chance to be successful, and talking about older memories is a great way to do that. Other things that you can do together, maybe looking at photo albums, You can even look for new traditions that you can start, whether it's, watching a Christmas movie or a show together. Putting on, here in Florida, we don't have fireplaces. So putting on a digital fireplace and, eating Christmas cookies together, or having a nightly ritual of enjoying the glow of Christmas lights. What can you do to make it special with where they are right now in their dementia? And really thinking about what have they liked in the past, and, how can that be incorporated now as well? And if you have friends or family involved who haven't seen your loved one in a while, prepare them for how they've changed and what they're now able to do, and get their suggestions on how to include your loved ones, and directly ask them for help.